Welcome back to the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. About ready to go green here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We are in the midst of the toughest stretch of the season, 8 weeks in a row. This is the 4th in that stretch of 8. The month of May, we're finishing up here at Charlotte. And then we get going next week, heading to the Midwest, to St. Louis.
I feel like we need to get a bigger airplane, Vince. We're gonna be in the air a lot.
Yeah, road trips turn into airplanes this time of year.
Yeah, it's a good stretch of the season, and tell you what, it's been fun. It seems like each and every week we have just a great battle for the win. Stuart Friesen got the victory last week at Texas, snapped a 53 race winless streak, and boy, what a celebration that was for the Hallmark Friesen team. Their first win as an organization.
Yeah, that was incredible. And it's just a great time of the season because, you know, for the first quarter of the season, Kurt, we had 4 guys penciled in as championship fours. And then Stuart Friesen said, oh, not so quickly. I think I'm going to be a part of this story. And then you got Majeski sitting on the pole. The strong runs from several trucks throughout the field. Tanner Gray up in the 6th qualifying position. He was so close to a win early in the season. There are some guys that are going to make a statement over the next 4 races.
What I'm starting to see is this was a new truck design for all the manufacturers when the season started, and the bodies were a bit more tightened up on templates. Teams are learning now the areas that make differences that can bring wins to the forefront, and more teams, more drivers, more competition as far as trying to get into that playoff position and the Final Four for a championship run.
Well, one of those drivers we expect to contend for wins this season, hasn't really been there yet, is the 23 of Grant Enfinger.
Let's go take whatever we got. Absolutely make the most of it tonight. We got something to contend with. Let's go win the thing. We got something, you know, that we can only run 7th with. Let's find a way to run 5th with it. Whatever it takes to do that tonight.
I think that's interesting because when you look at the playoff standings, Enfinger and company plus 37 to the cut line, 9th of 10 that would make the playoffs. A little bit of wiggle room, but you got to avoid disaster because we got a long way to go until the playoffs begin.
Yeah, I think you just said it both ways right there, Vince. Let's win if we've got a chance, but if we're just kind of hanging on to the top 10, we got to grab points tonight because they don't have much of a cushion back to being in the playoffs or not.
At the start of the field, Ty Majeski on pole for the 2nd time this season. He also won the pole in the season opener at Detroit. Got the job done in qualifying earlier this afternoon. That's 3-time winner Zane Smith alongside, and the green flag is out at Charlotte.
I think these boys are going to get busy right away. I mean, track position is so important here at Charlotte. Look at this. I mean, Kyle wasted no time jumping to the outside.
What a great start by the 51 truck. He got a good run, swung to the outside, and it's beside Majeski off turn 2.
I mean, there's trucks everywhere, and we got, of course, Chastain's not going to waste any time, and then there's the regulars that are in this mix.
Still side by side for the lead here on lap 1. That's Kyle Busch on the outside in the white 51. Ty Majeski, the pole winner, down on the bottom with a big wiggle.
He's going to side draft him. He's going to try, but Kyle's going to be right there on his door, on his quarter, timing the side draft as they go down into 1 and 2.
Look at that space Kyle left, though. He knows if he gets right down on the door of Majeski, that could get him loose. And that's a real challenge as you see a truck off turn 2 there getting a little bit sideways. That was Chastain making a move sideways.
So Kyle Busch to the lead. He brought Zane Smith with him on the outside. Zane in 2nd. Majeski, the pole winner, back to 3rd.
Yeah, I see the confidence in some of the guys. Well, look at this.
Oh, for the lead, Zane Smith.
He ran on the bottom through 3 and 4 where Kyle was up in the spray. We'll see what happens here through 1 and 2.
Zane Smith has been so strong, qualified on the front row, 3-time winner this season, been in the mix, it seems, every week. Didn't have a great, there's only really been a week or two where he hasn't had a great truck, but looks like he's got one tonight as he battles Kyle Busch for the lead.
Yeah, he does.
Takes it right around the bottom. Power move early on by Zane Smith.
That was sweet. I mean, we saw the speed in this 38 truck at Kansas last week, but to take the lead away from Kyle right here at Charlotte, like on the bottom for reals, Zane's got a good truck already.
Ford has never won in this series here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Maybe a little extra chip on the shoulder coming into this one.
Are you sure you shouldn't check your stats on that? That's almost impossible to believe.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't believe that either. But when I say the spray, it's just that subtle difference of darker gray asphalt up high and lower, lighter gray down on the bottom. And right now, with fresh tires, Mikey, you can go pretty much anywhere you want because the spray seems to be activated right away.
Couple of teammates there, and Carson Hocevar and Ross Chastain. We saw a moment ago. Right now, everybody chasing Zane Smith out front.
Whoa.
Majeski in third, slips right in there behind Kyle Busch.
Did you see Hocevar off turn 2? He got really loose. I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised to watch Hocevar drive right up and be a part of this battle for the lead. I looked up and he was sideways.
Hocevar told me earlier today they are so close to winning. Been runner-up a couple of times this season as he takes that position away from Chastain. And here comes Christian Eckes in the 98.
It's just so good for young Carson Hocevar to have Chastain as a teammate, being able to compare notes with one of the best there is in NASCAR right now. A couple of wins in the Cup Series. Ross is really teaching young Carson some lessons.
Yeah, that's when that top guy drops in and brings the guy that's been at the series for a while. He brings him up a notch, and a good camaraderie happens. But you know what? Look at this. These boys have reeled in Kyle Busch, and Kyle talked about his truck not being good. So hey, maybe he was telling the truth here right away.
Hocevar had to check up, and that allowed Chastain to get a run.
I think he's going to use that draft as Hocevar to go back around. Chastain does indeed. I think both these trucks, along with Christian Eckes there in the 98, are a little bit faster than Kyle right now. You can see Chastain up in the traction compound that Kurt spoke of.
And how about the 99 of Ben Rhodes, the 4 of John Hunter Nemechek, just outside the top 10, 14th and 15th.
Yeah,
unusual for Rhodes and Nemechek to be running back in that company.
I was just going to say, it's unusual to see their position right. But look at this. Majeski wants the lead back. He's your pole sitter, and he's right down digging on the bottom. And that's usually where good trucks win the race at Charlotte. But
so tight.
Here we go. There's going to be that momentum run off turn 4 for Zane. Majeski's going to side draft him to the inside. And Mikey says you get loose down here, right?
Tight. Corner.
Yeah, he couldn't quite
clear him. Now he's loose.
Kurt, talk about that a little bit. You tell the folks at home how you get loose on the bottom. What's that feel like?
It's the arrow on the side of the truck is taken away from the outside truck, and you had to pinch your truck down on a lower corner entry, and it just magnifies how much looseness really, and it's also the pitch. The pitch of the truck here is big, dropping down into turn 1.
Majeski needs to just squeeze out in front of Smith, and he'll forget about all that looseness, but he can't make it happen yet.
And then watch what's going to happen when the camera zooms out just a little bit. Kyle caught right back up to these guys, and that brought Hocevar with him. Chastain, everybody's there just because of the 2 leaders racing side by side.
So Smith in front, Majeski in second, Kyle Busch in third, and that's Hocevar and Ross Chastain right behind, filling out the top 5. How about a little radio from the 51?
Firing off there, a little bit right rear, I got it. A little bit right rear loose. Like Wanda just rear steer through the corner for the first 2 or 3. Now it's 6 numbers tight. Getting tighter.
That's not very good. The truck started off just a little on the loose side, and then now it's already headed on a big range towards tight. Usually 5 is a maximum tight. He's already talking 6.
12 laps in. Plenty to go here in stage 1 at Charlotte.
Let's get a quick update on Max Gutierrez. Not making a move to the front just yet. Haven't heard much from Max on the radio just yet. Just talked to team principal Kevin Sawinski. They're looking for Max to settle in, get some experience. They'll make some adjustments on that first stop coming up here in just a little bit. Max has a lot of experience up on that pit box. Not only is Kevin Sawinski here, but he's got 2009 ARCA Menard Series Championship crew chief Mark Rett and Jamie Jones, a winning crew chief here in the Truck Series with Red Horse Racing, all helping call the shots for Max Gutierrez. He should have a pretty solid shot at making up some positions once we get into the second half here at Charlotte.
Sunday on Fox, the most patriotic day in racing. Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Kurt Busch, the other stars of the Cup Series battling it out right here at Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Coca-Cola 600. Coverage begins 5 o'clock Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
600 miles of remembrance. It's a beautiful day in Charlotte, North Carolina. Those names honoring fallen heroes on your windshield. Special day, Kurt.
It is. I always love Memorial Day here. It kind of kicks off summer, but then just the reflection and the moment to know and understand that freedom isn't free and this ultimate sacrifice has been paid.
Well said. Good look at Matt Crafton in the 88. He's up 9 spots. Got a couple of wins here. And 3-time series champ, but hasn't really threatened for a win yet this season. Maybe Charlotte's just what the doctor ordered.
I see him getting better and better, though, Vince, week in and week out. But he's done this in a thrilling fashion, Regan. He's passing on the high side, making things come to him.
Michael, you're exactly right. Passing on the high side all over the racetrack. And when I talked to him earlier today, that's exactly what he loved about this truck. He said, I can move around and go anywhere I want with this race truck. Way too loose in qualifying. They felt like they knew why that was the case and like this truck would go forward. Too tight across the center right now for Matt Crafton, just a little bit, but happy with it overall.
I'd say biggest mover so far today.
You got some real fast trucks outside the top 10, Vince. Guys we think, talked about before the race started winning, like Grant Enfinger, Stuart Friesen, John Hunter Nemechek still 14th position. That's a real head scratcher.
Tanner Gray running 12th. He started on the 3rd row. Ben Rhodes back around 15th.
And to add to that, there's times at normal tracks where you don't have the spray. This one, the spray was activated right away, and it caught some guys off guard. John Hunter Nemechek and his team have got their solid notebook. You've got a bunch of veterans and a bunch of big names in the mix that are caught back there, and I think it was track conditions.
Another big name that we haven't talked about tonight, but real issues for her today during qualifying was Haley Deegan. Did not get to make a qualifying attempt, actually, because of a mechanical issue. They had to take that truck to the garage before qualifying, and Haley had to start at the rear. She's made up a few spots, but still struggling there at the back in that one truck. And the 37, good story there. Max Gutierrez making his Truck Series debut for Mexico City. College student there, and of course some NASCAR Mexico experience, ARCA Menards experience as well. But his debut here in the Camping World Truck Series.
Austin Wayne Self snuck in there behind him. He's usually a top 20 truck, and he's struggling early as well. So there's some real stories out there early in the going about who's got the handling and who doesn't. But one thing's for sure, Kurt, when Kyle, your brother, comes to pit road, he has the experience to communicate to his team what he needs for adjustments to get better and better. So that'll be something I would watch. Who makes the right calls when they come to pit road on their adjustments?
Yeah, some trucks are just going to continue to get better. And then like with Kyle's situation, when he said it started out loose and went that tight, well, they're going to have to free it up big time, and he'll have to start this next run loose. So let's check in with the 18 with Josh down on pit road.
Yeah, so I'm concerned for Chandler Smith in the 18 right now. He came over the radio, said it felt like he was losing power. So they came back and said, make sure all your switches are where they need to be. They asked him, are the gauges fine? He said yes. So we'll have to keep an eye on the 18 who's concerned about losing power, guys.
Yeah, one of the winners on the mile and a half this season, victorious in Las Vegas. Corey Heim, Zane Smith, Stuart Friesen, the other mile and a half winners. As you look at Kyle Busch there in the 51, leading that group. He's in third. Nobody's won on a mile and a half more than Kyle. 35 of his 61 wins have come on this type of racetrack.
I'm looking at Ryan Preece early, though, guys. He is really on the move. That 17 truck is strong. We saw Carson Hocevar try to take that third spot away from Kyle. Couldn't do so, and here comes Preece.
Yeah, Hocevar is getting a great education in how to make the pass, how to make the spray work in his favor, and hopefully it does work out where he can get by Kyle, but he's been stuck there with just not finding the right run and right momentum off of corner exit.
Woo. Whoa, that's tight.
They're getting busy back there.
Coming up on lap traffic is the leader, Zane Smith, in that 38 truck right in the middle. Wow.
That's when it gets busy back there. Everybody wants to stay on the lead lap because there's only 5 to go before the end of this stage. And you race with your elbows out, making sure that you're not the truck that doesn't get the lucky dog.
Well, you got to be aggressive as the leader getting through there, because if not, you get checked up, you get passed, and no telling what ends up happening to you, as Hocevar now goes around Kyle for fourth.
What about that 19-year-old out of Michigan, Carson Hocevar, on the mile and a half? Not a lot of experience. You talked about the 35 wins for Kyle Busch, and there goes Hocevar. What an impressive young racer he is.
A little Evel Knievel paint scheme on that truck, and wore the red, white, and blue hat today pre-race in honor of the Evel Knievel scheme, and not afraid to be a little daredevilish on the racetrack behind the wheel.
I hope he's not jumping the fountains at Caesars. You know, that's what I grew up watching with Evel Knievel.
He's a mild-mannered looking young lad, but you put a helmet on his head and he goes to town.
Chastain getting around Busch for fifth.
I think this is what we're seeing, Kurt. Kyle mentioned being tight. That's only going to get worse.
Yep, it doesn't go away no matter how much you move up the racetrack, no matter how much clean air. And so that's the handling thing where that truck's just twisted up and not flowing with what Kyle's needing.
Still 1, no gain.
Coming up on 2 to go here in stage 1. Zane Smith out front. He and Ty Majeski have been the only 2 leaders officially in laps led so far tonight.
Majeski's doing a good job of being the trailer. I mean, look at that. He just goes wherever Zane's going. He's staying within a close distance. And these two, I mean, they've definitely checked out on the field as far as the gap back to Preece. But Preece has come from a long way back to try to reel him in.
And you see there, Haley Deegan's the first truck a lap down behind these 2 leaders, and they've got about a half a straightaway before they catch another competitor. So she's pulling for everything to stay status quo now, so she could get that free pass and get back on the lead lap after those problems trying to qualify.
Yes, sir, but we might have something here on the final lap. Let's see what Ty tries to pull.
Majeski drops down low to take a look for the lead, and remember that playoff point that's at stake here.
Ooh, I didn't quite get there. I ought to run a little higher on the track, keep the momentum up. Oh, we got truck down low. Let's see here. 3 and 4 is anybody's game.
Can Majeski make another run at it, or can Zane Smith hold him off?
Zane did the job.
Zane Smith, 5th stage win this season.
Good job.
Tell you, that was an exciting first 30 of guys coming and going, and Zane taking charge. Majeski's right there. Got good stuff coming up.
They're going to hear more from Ryan Preece. I can promise you that.
Well, and it wasn't all smooth sailing for Zane Smith. Watch him in this 38 here, navigating this lap traffic so close. Blaine Perkins avoided the 9, then the 1. It was tight, but Zane managed to get it done.
It has been a career year for Zane Smith. 3 wins already. The 5th position in the point standings does not belie the performance that team has had, and he's showing it here tonight. He has led every lap but 2, and he talked to us earlier this afternoon about that sensation of speed that he gets from the cockpit here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, it's been a great season overall so far this year. We're about to hit the halfway point, and the beginning half has been really good, and our day at Charlotte has been really good. And so we unloaded with a fast truck and made some changes, I feel like, in the right direction for qualifying. Wish we would have gotten the pole. I don't know how much I just missed it by, but I messed up a little bit in 3 and 4, and I feel like that's probably what cost me it. But still cool to be up on the front row with a really patriotic paint scheme and on Memorial Day weekend, so it doesn't really get any better than that.
Zane Smith has led all but 2 laps here tonight. It took him those 2 laps to get to the front. He's going to bring that truck down to Chris Lawson and the crew. Try to figure out a way to keep it up front the rest of the night. His best career finish here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, 3rd back in 2019. Looking to better that by 2 here this evening.
Love it.
Camping World Truck Series racing from Charlotte here on FS1. Thanks for joining us tonight with Michael Waltrip and Kurt Busch. I'm Vince Welch. Regan Smith and Josh Sims on pit road. Stage 1 is complete, and Zane Smith was the Stage 1 winner. And if you look at it just statistically, he dominated the stage, but it was much tighter than what the numbers might tell you, and he captures those 10 points. Ty Majeski was right there on his bumper, heating him up.
And I think this is going to be a great pit stop, and we'll see the adjustments they make and see exactly what the next restart looks like. I can't tell you how important, how much this track has changed. And Kurt, you know this, from the sunny day to the dark of night, these trucks are handling much differently than they did in practice.
Oh, it's a hot mess during the daytime, and at night everything changes, and that's where you got to have the experience to know what to do. And here comes the crew chief's decision.
Got to get the adjustments right now, Josh.
Let's start with the 42 of Carson Hocevar. Said his truck is very free right now. So in addition to those tires and fuel, they're going to make an air pressure adjustment. And then for Ty Majeski, finished 2nd in that stage. He said his truck is getting tighter as it goes on, but otherwise he's happy. Regan.
A number of guys wanting serious adjustments, but Ryan Priest in 3rd place is not one of them. Very happy with the balance of that truck. Says it's neutral, a little tight in traffic. And your leader, Zane Smith, very tight all the way through the corners right now, especially with the front and over the bumps. Needs an adjustment for that.
Well, and a good battle off pit road.
Great battle.
How about that? Zane Smith. Woo. Majeski was right there. Priest, Hocevar.
Look at that, the top 4 held serve, but it was tight as far as everybody right there in the same spot. Tanner Gray is a big winner.
Who made the right adjustments? We're about to find out at Stage 2.
First ever live pit stop for former NASCAR Mexico champion Max Gutierrez, making his way down to the pit stall. Brings it into Jamie Jones and the crew. They're going to go to the right side tires first. Fill it up with Sunoco Racing fuel. Look for an adjustment on the track bar. Big adjustment on the track bars. They come over to the left side. Lug nuts off. Tires going back on. Max pitting with the lap down cars, unfortunately falling off the lead lap there late in that run in the first stage. Service is done. Max Gutierrez back on his way. He'll rejoin the field, get set for Stage 2 here in the North Carolina Educational Lottery 200 at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Tomorrow, it's a USFL primetime showdown between the New Orleans Breakers and Jeff Fisher's Michigan Panthers. Kickoff 9 o'clock Eastern on FS1. Then on Sunday, the league-leading Birmingham Stallions take on the Pittsburgh Maulers at 2 Eastern. That's on Fox.
Maulers. I'm a Maulers fan.
Hard to not root for a team by the name of the Maulers.
Yeah, they just
sounds like a football team,
sound
doesn't
tough.
it? I like it. Hey, lots of problems on pit road there. Stuart Friesen caught speeding in that 52. The 46 of Brennan Poole as well. Kyle Busch, the 51 team, they had a penalty for a man over the wall too soon.
The 88.
88, big problems for Matt Crafton's group.
Right.
51 to stop deep in the box. You punch him in the mouth. 10-4, bud. Message delivered.
Would y'all like me to translate that?
Oh, would you?
Yeah, help us.
In driver speak, that's what?
It sounded like crew chief talked to me, and he was not happy with the positioning of the 51 truck into his pit box relative to Matt Crafton's box. Take it over, Vince.
Well, I doubt that the 51 really cares.
I think it was a yard sale for a lot of guys on pit road, and now they have work to do to get caught back up. Oh yeah, Crafton was a groomsman at my brother's wedding.
Have they forgotten that by now?
Send it. All right.
Zane Smith and Ty Majeski out front to get us started here in stage 2. Ryan Priest with a nice push on that 38, huh?
I was just going to point that out. Mikey was picking him as that first stage ended, and now we'll see what he's got for short run speed.
Well, watch that bright yellow truck on the outside, back about 10th or 12th on the high line. Matt Crafton made some great moves early in that first stage. Up the middle, 3 wide, up high. He was really aggressive. See, after that terrible, oh, wow. That was a near crash.
Chastain's got his hands full. Now he's blocking, trying to keep everybody behind him.
Well, you know, you mentioned Matt Crafton, Michael, going from 18th up as far as 8th, but then he really hit the wall, well, figuratively hit the wall.
Saving that one, all clear. Clear by
And couldn't get up any closer to the front, so we'll see if he can continue that charge. Watch Chastain in the 41 here.
I don't think Matty D knows how lucky he was. Look at that.
Yeah. Turn 4, trying to pinch it down on the bottom with fresh tires.
Tanner Gray with nowhere to go, had to just roll off the gas and get right behind Chastain.
It just shows you how difficult it is. I mean, Chastain's the hottest thing going right now in Cup, and then you jump into the trucks thinking this is a lower level and it's going to be easier to run up front. No, that's how different the setups and the aero are starting to become. Look at this. Eckett's challenging one of the fastest trucks on track. Priest, 98 down to the bottom.
What about the move by John Hunter on Tanner Gray? John Hunter's made it into the top 10. Talked about an adjustment on that stop. This 4 team likes what they did early in this run for John Hunter Nemechek.
For sure. And then it's just a matter of the confidence. And John Hunter has that in his truck. He knows he's been close in the Final Four a few times and won 5 races last year. He knows what's up.
It's a brand new truck for Nemechek this week in that 4. Qualified 15th, but have gotten inside the top 10. His teammate there, the 18, you saw briefly, Chandler Smith, also has just cracked the top 10. There's John Hunter. I talked to him before the race today down in the garage area and was plenty confident, wasn't worried. He said it might take us a little while to get to the front, but we've got the truck to do it.
You know, I think that's interesting too, Vince, as you see Chastain lose his nose again. He's being very aggressive, and it's bitten him a couple of times. But I think that's interesting because practice wasn't that good, but they were still confident that with an adjustment on the first stop, they could become really competitive. Man, he's the biggest improved truck, I think, after that pit stop.
That was some hard-nosed racing with Chastain. Almost mirror driving, but just trying to take the line away from John Hunter. And John Hunter was like, oh, really? You did go high? Now I'm stuck going super high.
There's Chandler Smith being heated up by the 91 of Colby Howard just outside the top 10.
Colby, another fast truck. We've seen a lot of speed out of Colby Howard, the rookie, being able to run up front with the leaders and doing it again tonight.
I'll tell you, a big thing about this track with fresh tires, you want to be aggressive, you want to make moves, and there's times when somebody checks up in front of you and you don't react quick enough to keep your momentum going. Somebody from behind will just start sniffing on your recorder panel, and you're like, wait a minute, I was just trying to capitalize on that guy's mistake, and now I'm paying the price? Look at that. That's what I'm saying. This place is so racy.
Goodness, Chastain to the bottom, making it 3 wide, and here comes Nemechek back on the outside. Loses it a moment, but gathers it back up.
I was just saying, he just wanted to try to get back to his rear quarter panel to stay out on it. Oh, yeah. Go get back on it. He's going to send it to the inside, and we'll see if he can clear him now.
He does just that, and here comes Tanner Gray to the inside of Matty D.
Boy, Eric Phillips has made those adjustments on that 4 truck, and it has got somewhere to go.
They had a lot of stuff to sort out, Vince. They went 3 wide. I don't think John Hunter was too happy about that. Tried to run back to the inside, and wow.
Matt D gave him room. That's where he checked up, and here comes the 41. That's what I was just saying, what makes Charlotte so racy. And there's penalties that you have to pay so many different times when it wasn't any of your doing. John Hunter is not happy with Chastain there.
Tried to put the block on, but couldn't do it. And they are still within eye shot of one another, and I certainly anticipate this won't be the last time those two run bumper to bumper.
You get to race against Chastain all the time. He's probably a pretty tough cat to block, isn't he? He's an aggressive driver.
I mean, I'm not going to put him like he's taken over the Ryan Newman status in the garage, in the Cup garage as being the toughest to pass. But Chastain's smart, and he's aggressive, and he's young. It all adds up.
Nemechek creeping closer to the top 5, but everyone's still chasing Zane Smith.
One of the more surprising things here tonight at Charlotte is Kyle Busch not up front dominating. He has 14 starts here in the NASCAR Cape World Truck Series. 8 of those have resulted in a trip to victory lane. A total of 12 times he has finished first or second in those 14 starts. Worst finish, 11th back in 2007. He restarted outside the top 25 and has already worked his way back up into the top 15. Kyle Busch has completed every lap he has ever ran here, every lap of every race he has ever ran here, and he has led an astounding 789 of a possible 1,884 laps. No doubt about it, folks. If he can get back up to the front, he's on the march right now. He has picked up a couple of positions as we've been talking. He will get up and challenge for the win here tonight.
Back at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Zane Smith has led 48 of the 50 laps run tonight, but that 66 of Ty Majeski has been in his mirror almost every single one of those laps. And tell you what, Josh, Majeski's looking pretty sporty tonight as well.
Yeah, everything seems to be going great for Ty Majeski out on the track if he can just track down Zane Smith. But here in the pit box, just a few minutes ago, the power went out, so the team was scrambling to refire up that generator. They had to restart everything. As you see, all is calm now, but yeah, a scary moment for the team when the power goes out in the pit box, guys.
Wow. That, I bet that did get their attention. Crew Chief Joe Shear looks pretty calm there, but I'm guessing that wasn't the case a few minutes ago.
Yeah, it's pretty wild now. The IT guys are almost like the third in line now. You have a driver, crew chief, and an IT guy as far as importance. No, I'm just kidding.
What about Hocevar still trying to heat up Ryan Preece there, as you see. A comfortable lead for Zane, but Carson was beside Ryan, and then we got a caution.
The first one tonight, other than the end of the stage, as Tate Fogelman goes around, makes a little contact there, damage on the right rear. He was running just inside the top 25, 24th to be exact.
All right.
See a little damage.
He is sitting right here at the pit road entry backward.
Damage on that right rear, Vince. Is that what I see?
Yeah, it looks like it.
All right, now if you're not running for points, do you pit before the end of the stage and let those regulars do their thing for stage points?
If I'm Kyle Busch, I come and figure out what's wrong with my truck. That's for sure. Maybe Priest does the same thing.
I'd agree. I mean, right now Kyle's 15th, so he was telling the truth. His truck wasn't quite right. Here's a replay of Fogelman off turn 4.
Had already made the contact by then. Thankfully, nobody else caught up in that.
Can't get it to crank either, Vince, sitting down there on the entrance of pit road, but I think he's got her running now. There he goes. Will he just turn right into the pits? I would. Got some flat tires. Wouldn't pay off to go around this mile-and-a-half track on flats.
Yeah, I think we might have the opportunity to mix things up a little bit. I mean, Zane obviously is running for the points in the points championship, and you've got the trailer there with Majeski following him. Things could get mixed up here.
Some are coming, but some won't. I can guarantee that, because if I'm Matt Crafton even back in 14th, anybody outside the top 10, I think I come to pit road.
Yes,
Zane Smith out front with Ty Majeski right behind him, and it'll be interesting to see if they elect to come as the leaders. They do. Who's going to follow them? It's a long train down pit road.
I don't.
Ah, man.
Josh Sims.
Yeah, and Carson Hocevar is saying the truck is a little too on edge, so he needs just a little more of an adjustment as far as Ty Majeski. They were fighting a tight truck earlier as they come in and get fuels and tire. Regan?
The 17 and Ryan Priest has been trying to work around different lines with his truck right now. Wanted to run up on the top and see what he could do in the grippy compound up on the top of the racetrack. And the 38 is Zane Smith, your leader right now. Still too tight with that truck. They did make it a little bit better after that last stop, but still needs more if he's going to go on to win this.
Yeah, you saw that chassis adjustment in the 38.
That just tells you how important these competitors think that track position is, Vince. They weren't going to stay out there and grab that playoff point, stage points. They came to pit road to win the race.
They sure did. I did not expect that. I would have thought some would have tried a strategy. I mean, Hocevar, it says on the screen, took 2 tires. I'm not sure. But again, it's all about the speed and the lap times, and everybody's anticipating the yellow to be out for the stage in about 5-6 laps.
The end of stage 2 when we come back.
Standing by here with Jared Prince, crew chief for Christian Eckes. He came down pit road in 5th. Christian coming off a pretty solid run last week at Texas. What did you do on that truck that's going to get him one position better tonight than last week?
Hopefully we got a little speed in it here. We didn't make any changes that run. We just got better the longer we went. So hopefully from here on out it's a long run and we'll be better at the end.
So the ThorSport team obviously has a lot of resources. How closely do you work with your other teammates to come up with the best setups for these race trucks, or do your drivers each kind of demand different setups, so that kind of makes it impossible?
Yeah, each driver's a little different. Some of us come here a little more built for speed, a little more for handling, so they're all a little different.
That 38 truck looks pretty stout. You going to be up there and take it away from them?
We'll be there at the end when the tires get old.
All right, Christian Eckes looking to better that second place finish last week here at Charlotte tonight.
Late laps here in stage 2. A long line of drivers brought out to pit road, taking advantage of that caution when Fogelman spun and made a little wall contact. Here's the first pit stop. Kyle Busch had a penalty for men over the wall too soon. You see the jackman over the wall for the very first time in his career, by the way, tonight. So what a challenge that is for him.
He couldn't wait to get out there.
And this is a great view here from the Hawkeye that NASCAR uses from penalties. Look, I mean, they got 3 guys over the wall already.
Yeah, lots of mistakes there for the guys. And then Kyle's on the brakes and leaves all this room. That's what Crafton was talking about. He had a difficult time pulling around outside 51.
That's why we...
Now here's the second pit stop for Kyle in the 51.
And you can see issues on the right front. It just doesn't go back on very well.
Yeah. Oh, wait, hang on. No, right here. Wait, I got it.
That's strange.
Whew.
Wow.
Took a while.
Yikes.
That was a mess.
That was some quality telestrating, Kurt.
Thank you. We're going green.
And we're also got 3 trucks up front that didn't get any tires. Can they hang on? This is going to be wild.
4 to go.
Derek Kraus and Ben Rhodes up front.
Those old tires are tough to restart on, but they're hanging in there. Oh, no, we got some problem up there. Is that Timmy Hill?
Jammed up. Look at that.
Kraus couldn't get going either.
Rhodes is going to try to block everybody.
And
the
caution
wall
is out. Boy, tough break. Tyler Young's Motorsports, Matt Mills in the 20. And that will end stage 2. And how about that move of the 99 of Ben Rhodes? He's going to be credited with the stage win. Is that correct? Rhodes or Eckes?
We got to get the word from NASCAR. But if you're the crew chief right now, you're feeling like a genius. We called that, didn't we?
I think we called that. But let's see what happened on the restart. I mean, 2 trucks front row. I'll have older tires, and so it's going to be tougher to accelerate. But let's see where the jam up came from.
It was Kraus. He must have missed a gear.
Yeah. And then Timmy Hill's like, I kind of got to get out of here. And then everybody's jockeying, moving and bobbing and weaving. Now the yellow's out to me, and the 99's ahead, but we'll see.
Boy, if Rhodes ends up with the stage win, boy, I mean, he had been mired back outside the top 15.
There's a crash in the background there.
Yeah, I think the 99 did win it. It is confirmed.
Wow, his 6th stage win of the year.
Let's give that win to Rich Lucius.
Yes.
I mean, that call to stay out, it was a big gamble. And it wasn't going to pay off, I don't think, if there wasn't a crash. But you know, when you stack them up like we do on restarts, anything can happen.
And they cashed in on a point. I mean, I thought more trucks would stay out trying to go for normal stage points, but it shows you how the tires are dropping off pace-wise. But yes, the 99 stole a stage win.
Not only the stage win, but gets those 10 points, and he was 20th before the pit stops. Now, you're talking about in Ben Rhodes, and we'll see here about how they determined that Rhodes was the leader.
Yep, and we got the caution light right up top here, and we got the 99 ahead of the 98. Yep. That's very clear.
But Rhodes in that battle for the regular season points championship as well. So this is huge for Ben Rhodes.
He's led it all year and had issues down at Texas, lost that lead. And so those points are valuable. That's 15 points when we go playoff racing, Vince. Certainly worth the gamble, especially if you're Ben Rhodes and Rich Lucius, the crew chief, running in 20th position. What do you got to lose?
That's smart. I mean, that's what championship teams do, is they find those opportunities, and then the luck ends up falling their way to capitalize on that. I mean, it took a lot of things to happen, and it worked out for them.
Well, and Mike, you mentioned the big swing last week at Texas when Rhodes finished 27th. I mean, it was a 24-point swing. He went from leading the regular season points to being 4 points behind John Hunter Nemechek. And if you win that regular season title, as Mike mentioned, 15 playoff points, equal to winning 3 races. I mean, it's huge. Ben Rhodes, defending series champ. Yeah, feeling pretty good about that strategy.
Let's give a quick update on our buddy Max Gutierrez tonight. Max out there making his debut here in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Just talked to Mark Rett, one of the team owners down here. Mark said that truck is wicked loose. They made a big adjustment, went like 4 rounds down on the track bar, and they're probably going to make a similar adjustment coming up on that next stage break when they come on down pit road. So Max Gutierrez fighting a very loose race truck here in the early stages at Charlotte.
What a great night to begin a awesome weekend of racing. Camping World Truck Series racing here on FS1, presented by Blue Emu. Had the ARCA race earlier today. Xfinity race tomorrow. Cup race on Sunday. Of course, the Coca-Cola 600. You see our stage points earned through 2 stages tonight. Zane Smith has just been brilliant. He has led 52 laps of the 61 we've run tonight, but didn't win that stage. They pitted late in the stage. The 99 of Ben Rhodes decided to stay out, took the gamble, and it paid off when a caution came out, ending the stage. So Rhodes, who had been mired back outside the top 15, he and his crew chief Rich Lucius look like geniuses. There's Rich.
He looked like a genius.
Josh Sims.
Yeah, and you guys talk about it. They were talking before the race about needing points, trying to get back to first place in the playoff points. They were struggling to pass people, so they made that gamble to stay out to get those points by winning that stage. As far as the 19 of Derek Kraus, he also has only stopped once. It's just his second stop. So he made a gamble, got some playoff points as well. But he's been fighting a truck. He says it just won't stay where he needs to on the track, so they're going to make a track bar adjustment for him.
See if we can get a word with Ben. After he clears pit road, we got to make sure he's paying attention to his pit road tachometer. No mistakes there. There's the genius, Rich Lucius. We're going to find out from Ben if he thinks Rich is a genius or really lucky.
I bet he says genius. What do you think?
Let's go. We'll see what he says. Ben Rhodes, Michael Waltrip, and the boys in the Fox booth. You copy?
Hey, Michael, got a copy.
All right, I got a question. Do you think Rich Lucius is a genius or really lucky right now? Because that was an awesome call and it worked out.
Maybe both. I think Rich is a very smart crew chief, but we did also get a little lucky. Those guys on new tires had a lot of momentum. But I'm hoping this pit stop gave me the 4 fresh Goodyears that I need and the adjustments that I need to come back through this pack. You know, those stage points are something we needed after missing out the first stage. So that helps our playoff points. That helps our race today. And now we just got to finish it out. We've got a lot of work to do, though.
Well, we appreciate you. And Rich, you look very confident. Great job, buddy.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in Ben. He had the opportunity to go full genius with his crew chief, Rich Lucius. Stay with us. Final stage from Charlotte coming up.
Last time with our full lineup. Now let's get back to the full ride.
Max Gutierrez back on pit road. Already serviced the right side. Already made that big chassis adjustment that Mark Rett was talking about. Left side tires on. And they're away. We're going to let the tire changers and fuelers get out. We're going to see if we can grab a quick word with... No? You don't want to share an update with us? Mark's a little busy. He's going to get back to it. But he did say they were going to make a big adjustment. What's Max saying out there? Little free, still a little free out for the third driver, that number 37 truck. But Max Gutierrez, again, here to get some experience, want to get a good finish. They're working on giving him the best truck possible here tonight. Max Gutierrez is going to be on the move now here in the final half of this race, trying to take it to the front.
Tomorrow, Baseball Night in America is back on Fox. Mookie Betts and the Dodgers battling the Diamondbacks, or the Phillies taking on Pete Alonso and the Mets. Maybe you get the Cubs and the White Sox. It all begins tomorrow, 7 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Check the local listings for the game in your area. Hey, congratulations to your mom and dad, Kurt. 50th anniversary today. Wow. What an accomplishment.
So proud of mom and dad, and not just 50 years in racing. It's 50 years of putting up with one another's imperfections. That was a nice moment.
What's the biggest accomplishment, you think? Them being married 50 years or managing you two knucklehead boys for that long?
All right, let's move on. Looks like an awesome restart coming up. Proud of mom and dad. 50th anniversary. I think Kyle might be running 50th right now. Let's go.
Eckes and Preece for the lead to open the third and final stage here at Charlotte.
And look out outside, John Hunter from outside the top 10 to an adjustment.
Yep.
And now he's going to battle for the lead.
Huge push, huge bump draft. Oh, and he gave him the outside. This will be interesting to see because on stickers, it's going to be tough.
You want to get really loose down on the bottom.
Yeah, but this outside, it's going to be a freight train. I'm sorry, Eckes. Here they go. That's the draft, how it works. And then Hocevar is going to jump in there.
And Matty D, Matt DiBenedetto right there in 5th in that blue and white 25.
Hocevar's been really loose on these restarts, and you can see he's losing ground off turn 2 there, and here comes Matty D.
Yeah, Hocevar had trouble getting off too. This is interesting though. John Hunter didn't quite clear Eckes, but the momentum on the top side should carry well down the front, and he is clear. It'll be interesting to see what he can do with Preece out front, because Preece has shown through the first 2 stages he's got a very consistent truck.
Yeah, I think Preece and even Hocevar have had a couple of really fast trucks early in the going, and there's Matt Crafton battling back from some more adversity. He and Preece down on the bottom, both of them have some ground to make up after problems on pit road.
Well, there's Zane Smith in that 38. He's been a dominant force at the front of the field tonight, but kind of mired back in the pack a little bit during this restart here, and he's just inside the top 10, running 8th as he gets around Majeski. Well, Smith and Majeski have been around each other all night long, and here comes the 51 of Busch.
I'd say the 38 and 66 have been tied together still. We'll see if Kyle's able to make up some ground, but Hocevar had a nice run off too.
I think they've got that 51 tuned up. He is on the move.
And they also got the 42 tuned up. He's going for the position. Really hard to hold it down there. Carson does a nice job. John Hunter uses that momentum on the high side to hold him off.
With it, repace you. Make sure you got a good enough run to clear him.
How about these results from Ryan Preece, who leads this race? He won his first ever Truck Series start, Nashville, last season. And, I mean, these results have just been terrific. This guy gets in the truck, and he takes it to the front.
This could be Carson Hocevar's night, Vince. Going for that second position. John Hunter looks like he's already gotten a little bit tight. We know the boss, Kyle, talked about going tight early.
Hocevar, nice. That's where you move up the racetrack and take the air away from the 4 truck. And that's what Preece did to John Hunter back in 1 and 2. Like when Preece chopped down, took the air off John Hunter's nose, John Hunter's truck went straight to the right. So you're right, Mike. He's already looking like he's on the tight side, making sure he's sniffing for clean air right now. Too early to be too tight.
Got another pit stop coming up, so it's not certainly far from over, but I like these 2 trucks early in the first 2 stages, the 2 fastest guys, I think. Of course, Zane was, but he was out front. That's a bit of an unfair advantage. When you get back in traffic and make those moves, that's what's big.
Up here.
I tell you, your boy Hocevar, this is impressive right now. Which lane you going to choose? Good move to go up on the high side, gain some momentum, trucks loose.
Sideways.
Oh!
Drag it back
Hocevar going to take advantage.
He swooped down low to try to clear the draft, and he is now the leader.
How about taking the lead sideways? That's impressive.
From Preece. That's great. That is awesome right now. Power move outside, and he chose the right lane to find them good momentum up on the top side.
Yeah, Preece had a handful, and boy, as soon as you crack that throttle, lose that momentum, you're a sitting duck. There's the 99 of Rhodes trying to make his way back toward the front.
He's making his way like I am right now. I'm trying to find him on the monitor. He's like 20th, but he'll get back up there.
Yeah, he was kind of mired back in that area, Michael, until they did that pit strategy there and ended up winning stage 2.
Yeah, I think that gamble is going to make this night acceptable for them, but they got to pass some more trucks. Maybe there's another chance for strategy. The caution flies at the right time.
Well, you made the comment a moment ago. They definitely all have to pit at least once here in this final stage.
You know, Vince, I've done a couple of stories with Carson about his hats. This past week, we were going to do another one, and he said, I think I better go race at Millbridge. There's more dirt racing coming up this season. So he went dirt racing at Millbridge on Wednesday night. We didn't
That's
get to do
an awfully big driver to squeeze into a midget.
Can you believe that?
John Hunter Nemechek, what's the latest?
Well, Vince, John Hunter Nemechek very loose earlier today in practice. Just spoke with the team before this most recent restart. They said, we think that we've over-adjusted it too much because of that. They have been trying to free that truck up all race long, just too tight for John Hunter. Felt like they are one adjustment away from getting it to where they need to be. Right now, though, hanging on to the leaders pretty good, so a little closer than they expected for this run.
Be interesting to keep an eye on it, that's for sure, Regan. Thank you. And remember, brand new truck for Nemechek in the 4. So the latest bells and whistles for Nemechek. See if it pays off. Carson Hocevar, runner-up twice this season, looking for his first career win tonight.
It has been nearly 3 full years since Nice Motorsports went to victory lane. Ross Chastain winning at Pocono back in 2019. They're awfully close. Carson Hocevar looking to break that streak here tonight and looking to break his own personal winless streak. He's finished second 3 times, including here at Charlotte Motor Speedway last year. We saw him make that aggressive pass for the lead just a handful of laps ago. Carson Hocevar at the front. Crew Chief Phil Gould and the rest of the team trying to figure out a way to keep him there as the laps wind down here at Charlotte.
Back at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Camping World Truck Series, third and final stage. Looking at the 41 of Ross Chastain, the 66 of Ty Majeski, running 6th and 7th currently. Take a look at our Blue Emu race summary. Zane Smith and Ben Rhodes have won the 2 stages tonight. Zane Smith's led 52 laps. No other driver has even led double figures tonight, but right now Zane is back in 9th after the exchange of pit stops.
What about that power move by Majeski around Chastain? And there's another battle. There goes Zane around Kyle Busch, dropping Kyle back to 9th.
You know, it's interesting just with the way that guys have to race each other. And it's nothing that hasn't been done before, but it's like the closing of the door on corner exit and just chopping the air off from somebody. It's gotten more and more aggressive over the past, I would just call it 30 races, just over the past year and a half. And you're seeing guys now where they're jockeying back side by side. This is great stuff. It's just more and more aggression on how difficult it is to find that clean air.
Aggressive, but it's been clean tonight. I mean, we've had 2 incidents, but both were single truck incidents. With the 30 of Tate Fogelman, the 20 of Matt Mills, both had contact, wall contact, but others weren't involved, weren't big accidents. So it's been a clean race tonight.
It's fun seeing the differing lines too. You saw Kyle make the low line work, a crossover move. These guys have a great battle going on here for this 8th position.
Yeah, usually there's 3 options at Charlotte. There's the low lane where Zane is, the middle where Kyle is, and sometimes that high lane gets cooking. And usually it's those guys named Larson. And Casey Kane took us up there for the first time years ago. I think you went up there a few times, Mikey, Ricky Craven. I don't know what makes that super high lane work other than just the tire combo with that year's setup and aero.
Were you up there intentionally, Mike, when you were driving, or was that just on the way to the hitting the wall?
A couple times.
Oh.
A couple times that was my plan. But this is a great view riding on Tyler Ankram's helmet and just seeing how rough and how bouncy this is. Can you imagine 2 hours of just bouncing around like this? It's just so intensely focused.
Yeah, well, 2 hours is just half of the Coca-Cola 600.
You get to do it for 4 hours Sunday night.
And that was the smooth end of the racetrack that we rode along on.
Matt Crafton in that 88 back in the 16th spot. That's Ben Rhodes 17th. It just has not been the best night for Rhodes, although he does make that pass, but he has spent a lot of time outside the top 15 tonight.
He needed that two for one pass there, because you mentioned it, Vince. He's been struggling, and to be able to get 2 guys when it's hard to pass, that's a big deal.
Oh, man.
Oh, Crafton.
That's where Crafton was trying to make a pass on the 61, and Rhodes came by, took them both, and then now Crafton's still stuck in the spot that he's in.
And Colby Howard says, I'd like some of that action. He's pulled up to the back of Crafton.
How about this 25 of De Benedetto running 5th? I mean, he only ran in the top 5, 19 laps this year entering this race tonight. Already 20-plus laps in the top 5 this evening.
Yeah, and think about practice today, Vince. He had a really strong truck right off the trailer, and we were curious as to if you struggled in the heat of the day, would you be good at night? He's been good at both. He was good in practice earlier, and he's still fast now.
0 top 5s for this team so far this season. He's on the verge of scoring the first tonight.
But look at that, 11th, 7th, 10th. They're trending in the right direction, heating up here in the summertime.
I like it. We all expected more out of Matty D, and this is what we expected, to be up there running. And there's still a long way to go, but this is what it's all about. It's those building blocks.
The 98 of Eckes up ahead of him. Been an impressive run for Eckes, not just tonight, but throughout the course of this season. In fact, back-to-back top 5s. He was the runner-up last week at Texas. Carson Hocevar, the leader. Less than 50 to go at Charlotte.
Last year's winner here at Charlotte, John Hunter Nemechek, starting to make some noise up at the front of the field. He's been running third after that round of pit stops. Shook up the field there about 20 laps ago. John Hunter's got a really good, solid race truck. He's already picked up a win, locked himself into those Camping World Truck Series playoffs. He wants to start racking up victories. He's got a good shot at putting Kyle Busch Motorsports back in victory lane here in Charlotte tonight.
Back here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, 43 laps to go in this one. Green flag pit stops, or if we get a caution, we are in the window for these teams. Have to come to pit road yet again one last time. Can't make it all the way on fuel, and you see the laps since they last pitted. It's pretty consistent up and down the line.
Tanner Gray had a good battle there with Derek Kraus inside the top 15. Gray got around him, but Kraus rebounded, took the spot. You see just ahead, Chandler Smith and Stuart Friesen battling. There's good battles all over the racetrack, but the last 4 or 5 laps, Carson Hosemeier's had about a 2/10 on second place. You don't see that very often.
No, and Charlotte is so one of those picky tracks. Like, we're seeing trucks when they make a pass, they have to give the spot back up, and it's because you end up tight in 3 and 4, or you're loose in 1 and 2. But since that stage 2 adjustment, Hosemeier's truck has been on rails.
How about last week's winner, Stuart Friesen, in the 52? Haven't talked much about him tonight. He spent a lot of this night outside the top 10, but he is not alone in regards to drivers that have struggled. Look, you got Chandler Smith there in 12th, Ben Rhodes 15th, Crafton 17th.
And stuck in between those two, Chase Purdy. He's having a nice run, running right in the 16th position, battling with Crafton, and grabs that spot away from Matt. That's a good run. There's our first green flag stop, Vince.
Chandler Smith with 40 to go, coming to pit road.
And basically what they just did is they chopped this last stage in half, in a sense, with the lap count.
Would you do that, or would you just run it out as far as you could and get those tires late, opening up maybe a possibility for a 2-tire stop?
So as these tires in Goodyear and the way that technology's developed, you end up running it as far out as you can. But back in the day, tires would wear out so fast. I love splitting stages exactly in half. That was in a cup car. A little different with the trucks and things, but if there was 50 laps per se and you had to pit, I'd do 25 and 25.
Chastain in the 41.
Watch this big run from Zane Smith off the corner. We've seen this all night long.
Oh, is he gonna push him?
Guys make the pass on the inside and lose it back on the outside, or vice versa.
I love it. Chastain's one of the best at losing momentum and then figuring out, I got a block for you, buddy.
Trying to navigate the lapped truck there in the 12 of Spencer Boyd. Here comes Enfinger getting up in the mix.
Not 100% sure what Dude Derm is, but that's what's on the side of the 12 truck for Spencer Boyd. It sounds cool.
Kyle Busch inside the top 10, and a little bit of a struggle. Well, I wouldn't say a little bit. It's been a struggle for the 51 group tonight. They've had a couple of slow pit stops, haven't quite had the truck where they wanted. Here comes Ross Chastain. More green flag pit stops. Regan is awaiting the 41.
Well, Vincent 41 Ross Chastain has been fighting tight all night long with that truck. On the splitter early in the race, they've made that better for the early parts of runs, but still too tight overall. They do feel like their fall off is better than most, but it takes too long to get to that point.
Look at this battle. Zane Smith's been trying to get around Kyle Busch for several laps now.
Okay, well, let's just put this in perspective, though. Zane has been dominant all night, and Kyle's been just falling back all night, and now here they are running 8th and 9th. I mean, it shows you the parity. It shows you the competition. We got Ben Rhodes on pit road now, and he was the one that kind of gambled on that strategy, and I would have expected him to run longer, but they pitted sooner.
Yeah, you've got a choice. You can either split it in half like most people are doing, or you can just try to run it as long as you can. A couple things from running long, Regan. You could maybe catch a caution, but you need those fresh tires.
Michael, you're exactly right. Those fresh tires are going to be the key, as well as the fuel they're going to need. The 38 right there of Zane Smith, so good early on in the race, but right now in traffic, that truck's gone tight and is struggling to get through the traffic. Josh?
Carson Hocevar on the 42 said that truck is perfect right now. Just get him some tires and some fuel, and he's good to go.
Yeah, we got more and more trucks hitting pit road. We got Priest is on there, John Hunter, Eckes. Let's go to Regan for the 17 truck with Priest.
Kurt Ryan Priest has been trying to chase down the leader of the race. Can't quite get there. That truck about 10 laps ago went way too loose for him. Been neutral all night long until that moment right there. And the Ford truck of John Hunter Nemechek just a little bit too tight with that truck landing and exit of the corners. Still need some help with that.
We cannot have a mistake here. That would be killer this late in the going if you had a problem with a speeding penalty or your crew guy losing a tire.
So far, they've been clean.
This is the money stop. Under green, you've got to have your best stop of the night.
Just saw Majeski pass the leader, or who was the leader with Hocevar.
I talked about stretching it and trying to catch a caution. Right now, if Majeski were able to do that, he would have Carson Hocevar a lap down. But it looks like
guys. There looks like they're pitting.
Going to be looking 3 red, no more than 3 red. 3, 2, 1 light.
Josh is awaiting the arrival of the 66 truck. That's Ty Majeski.
Yeah, and Ty Majeski's fighting a truck that's just too tight up front. They're going to come in, try and get an adjustment, get some tires and fuel as well. Regan?
The 51 of Kyle Busch, 8-time winner at Charlotte. Looking like that's going to be tough to do tonight. They have struggled to get the handle on this truck. Big adjustments every stop, still too tight for Kyle, but they are doing everything they can to try and get it better.
Well, they have indeed been working on it, and tell you what, the work of the pit crews and the crew chief and calling for the different adjustments, you just don't get many opportunities in the truck series to fix it if you got a problem.
Trouble on that right rear for Kyle Busch.
That's three pit stops, and they've had issues in all 3 of them, that 51.
Crafton's doing what we said, running it long, didn't have a winning truck, trying to catch a bunch of people a lap down, trying to take advantage of the track position that he's going to gain if the caution would just fly. This strategy won't work. I don't think it'll hurt anything trying it, and it certainly gives him a possible better solution to a bad night.
Yeah, I think if you were running 20th before, stretch it out, see if you can catch a caution or run it all the way till it's 20 to go. That way you have the freshest possible tires if another yellow comes out later on.
Everybody's pitted except our top 3. And as it shakes out, Carson Hocevar is running 4th. He's the first truck that pitted and is in 4th position. He's the lead truck of those.
Oh, this is about ready to be where the shopping cart wheel falls off the 88 truck. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And his momentum now is going to start to slow up so much that the lap time is just going to go completely through the roof.
Zane Smith trying to get around the 88 as well.
That's pretty impressive. We didn't hear of any speeding penalties or any problems on pit road with the money stop that I talked about.
The 24 of Jack Wood speeding, the rookie. So he's the only one, but you're right, Mike. Well done by the drivers. No penalties from the crews.
Hocevar was 6 seconds up when the green flag pit stop started. Right now he's got about 4 over Priest, so lost a little bit, but still a good solid stop.
Here comes Matt Crafton.
So they finally committed to pitting. Again, it was that losing so much momentum, and that's where I've always told my crew chiefs, if we're undecided, it's when we're going to be stuck in traffic.
And as soon as you see that traffic, you have your crew chief bring you to pit road, have the spotter say, all right, it's getting thick out there. We better bail on this strategy.
Yeah, we're going to lose a ton now on track. Just bring us on in now.
Hocevar re-inheriting the lead.
I'm stuck in a little bit of traffic here, but these the trucks now, these are getting tougher and tougher to put a lap down.
Less than 30 to go with almost a 3.5 second lead over Ryan Preece. It's interesting for Hocevar, who's been out front tonight, 28 laps. I mean, coming into this race, he had led 55 at Bristol on the dirt, but as far as the pavement tracks are concerned, this is the most he has been out front tonight, which a little bit surprising because he has been so good, been runner-up a couple of times this year.
This is a statement by this team. Nice Motorsports is saying we've got fast trucks everywhere. You talked about his speed on the dirt. Here we are in the mile-and-a-half Charlotte, and I'm telling you, Carson's driving that thing. He's been loose all night long. We saw him take the lead sideways, so he's committed, doing a great job. Just needs to hold it together for 27 laps, and that's one race car driver that's saying, no caution. Let's run this thing out.
Well, I think it's interesting, Mike, because he told me earlier today, he said, I think we've got the speed, but we just haven't put it all together on the right night. And he said, if we put all elements together, I think we can win. I'm confident we can. And, well, it seems to be happening here tonight as we approach 25 to go.
I mean, that's what I'm seeing. He's wheeling it, too. Like, that truck is yawed out. He's on the loose side of things. And again, it's a matter of everything coming together, like you're saying, Vince, as far as every element. And then, but a guy named Chastain shows up and helps you dissect some of your practice situations and goes through it with you. It makes you smarter and makes you stronger.
Yeah, what an advantage it is for a team like Nice Motorsports to have a guy like Ross Chastain come down, run a handful of races, and evaluate their stuff.
And Carson Hocevar to say, thank you, Ross. I appreciate the information, and I took and used it, and I beat you.
Gotta love it when a plan comes together. Let's just keep it going. It's got 24 to go.
Yeah, I was going to say, nice showing by Nice tonight with Hocevar and Chastain running first and third. You see him there on the screen. And Ryan Preece squeezed in between, 4 seconds behind the leader.
You know, when I was really impressed, I talk a lot about how tenacious and talented I think Carson is. They stayed out on old tires at Bristol last fall, and he was able to hang onto that truck and finish in the top 5. But it was a challenge because the tires were some 40, 50 laps older than the guys he was racing, but he hung in there. You get that done on old tires at Bristol, that shows a lot of talent.
Yeah, you see that at certain tracks, certain drivers, and that combo, you know, shaping up well. And I remember a guy named Regan Smith was able to work some magic in the Southern 500 and win Darlington one year. It can all come together if you make sure you make that right call.
But I'll tell you, the last few laps, you see that 4-second lead for Hocevar over Preece. The fastest truck on the track has been Chastain and Preece. And the crew chief, the team, they're noticing that. And that's when you start scratching your head. What if the caution flies? You know, can we hold these guys off? That cushion is lovely right now. But like I said a bit ago, you're just hoping if you're the leader that the race stays clean and green to the checkered.
Well, the crew chief for that 42 truck of Carson Hocevar is Phil Gould, veteran crew chief. And Phil was, in fact, crew chief for Chastain during a few of Ross's wins here in this series.
22, quite a bit slower than the other one.
There's a good look at Phil. Looks very calm, but I'm sure the stomach is churning inside.
I think it's
quarter clear.
I don't think it's churning quite like it will be with 10 to go, Vince. And you're starting to see every little bobble and weave the other competitors are making, hoping they hold it all together and no caution flies. Does that truck look more yawed out to you than some of the others?
I'm sitting there watching it, thinking the same thing. Like, he is wheeling the heck out of it. And it's like, hang on, bud, you got more than a 4-second lead. Just start to pull in race management here.
Camping World 20 to go. Carson Hocevar in that 42.
Could you have told
the leader
19-year-old Kurt Busch race management?
Oh, I did one time, and I slowed up
one time.
And Jimmy Fenning says, "Okay, you now are more than 19 seconds ahead of second place." And I'm like, "No, I did slow up." Magically, the yellow came out later. I don't know what happened. Oh wait, what we got here? We got the Benedetto off pace a little bit. Oh man.
Hocevar certainly hopes not, but flat right front we're being told for De Benedetto. Green still out. That's unfortunate because Matty D had really had a good run tonight. Was 8th at the time.
They can't catch a break. I mean, there's no damage. There's no scratches on the right side.
Just cut one down, and it's a great job by Matty D, his experience, to feel that right front go flat and that truck not wind up in the outside wall.
Yeah, I think the best run of the season for the 25 tonight, Regan.
Well, guys, you're exactly right. Matty D came on the radio and said, I got a flat right front. Immediately got the truck down onto pit road. A tough break for a team that was having a good run.
Oh, well, the Jackman just went down as well. They just changed those right sides and tried to get him out, but certainly a terrible break for DiBenedetto. Riding along with Tyler Ankrum. Just back inside the top 20. He's a lap down.
You race fans digging this visor cam or what?
Man,
I mean,
I'll tell ya.
this is how rough this track is.
It's like he's off-roading.
Yeah, the bumps over on this end are a little smoother, but there's just 3 times as many bumps over in 3 and 4.
Is it as bad as it looks, or is that just the visor and the helmet is moving around? It accentuates it a little bit more.
No, the head is doing all that, Vince. That's why, I mean, yes, it's as bad as it looks. You just somehow get used to it, huh, Kurt?
I don't know. I feel like I'm rattling my brain watching. I'm going to go down there and check his seat cushioning. Make sure we got the right seat cushioning.
Give you a concussion just watching.
That is rough.
Zane Smith and Ty Majeski, well, those two have raced around one another a lot tonight. That's for the 7th spot.
Yeah, they've been glued together no matter what stage it's been.
And there's Grant Enfinger sneaking up in there. Top 10 run again.
His goal was 7th at the beginning. We heard he's running P9. Yeah, so he's got his goal in check.
Derek Kraus inside the top 10 in that Napa number 19. He's in this battle as well. They've all gotten around Kyle Busch and dropped him back to the 12th spot.
Well, and that would be a big result for Derek Kraus if he indeed can keep it there in that position. He only has 1 top 10 so far this season, and anytime, you know, I mean, great runs look different for all the teams, and for Derek Kraus in this group, a top 10 finish would be terrific.
Well, and right behind him is his teammate Colby Howard, and Colby's in the top 15, so that's an organization that you say, you know, daily they're getting better and better and can contend for wins.
I'm still surprised, though, when you look outside the top 10 at the names 11th, 12th, and 13. Rhodes, Kyle Busch, Stuart Friesen, Matt Crafton down there in 16th. It's just, it has been a tough night on some of the stars of the series. There's Rhodes and Kyle.
I guess that's what Charlotte does with how much it challenges you. And again, it gets back to aero, it gets back to the practice being at 1 p.m. and love how Kyle drives turn 3. You still got to get off 4 here, buddy. He's just having one of those rough days. Things just haven't materialized as far as the setup. But yet we heard John Hunter got the brand new truck, and here's Kyle wheeling it with probably an older truck. So it's very gracious of the team owner to give the new stuff to the guys that are running full time.
Well, I would say what they have learned with that 4 truck from Nemechek has been encouraging as Kyle is able to secure that pass. There's a look at Nemechek. Anytime you bring a new truck out or a new car in your situation at the cup level and it runs top 5, you've got to be pretty pleased with it.
Yeah, it shows you everybody at the shop is finding the right things to pull the rope in the same direction. Anytime you roll out something new and you're running top 5 and have a chance to win, it's like, all right, check all those boxes.
At the very front is Carson Hocevar.
Like, he's in a different zip code now, and hopefully it's not as loose as what we were watching earlier for Hocevar. But man, the way that he and Priest set the tone from that beginning part of the stage 3, I mean, they have checked out, and we're talking about how Zane Smith was the guy, Majeski, and those guys are not even in the top 5.
How about this? Almost a 6-second advantage for Hocevar. 19 years old from Wisconsin.
Last time by, Vince, 3/10 faster than second place.
Wow.
That's how that 6-second lead happened. And that means, Kurt, the 19-year-old isn't backing down.
I'm taking my notes down right now. I'm taking my notes, where he's driving, what line he's driving, where he's making passes.
Well, how about the nerves of a parent awaiting potentially your first win.
Need to push too hard on him. Obviously get by him if you can, but don't push too hard with him.
I think he's been behind the 91 now for a good 10 laps. So he has found a nice rhythm to not push too hard. And look, his, like I said, I backed off one time. Like his lead has increased by 2 seconds since that.
And then you can see he tried the very bottom down in turn 1 and 2 to get around Colby Howard. That didn't work. I love the advice from the spotter. Said, let's not get crazy here. We can get him if we can, but let's not do anything crazy. And Colby's just fast enough to where if Carson got down on the bottom, he could get loose. So I like following him right now with that big lead.
Absolutely. No, I mean, he's running 15th, and then these boys back here, this is a barnyard type fight.
Hocevar just wants it to stay green.
That's all, Vince. Just give me 8 laps of green flag racing, and I'm going to get my first win in NASCAR.
I went old school a few weeks ago when I passed Larson for the lead. I was like, okay, there's 8 to go. And I was thinking of that old 80s TV show, Press Your Luck. And when you go for the numbers and then it's like, boop, 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 no whammies, no whammies, no whammies. I was hopeful, no whammies.
Yeah.
And we hear the story that drivers start hearing all kind of noises in the vehicle in the late stages of a race. Is he hearing those noises now with 7 to go, or is it still got to be a couple of laps yet?
For sure. You're like, oh man, my truck's getting looser. Oh wait, the air pressure didn't feel right. Oh my gosh, the engine doesn't feel right. I mean, when you're getting this close, it's crazy what the mind does. Or it's just me. I don't know. You, Mikey, you're crazy too, so you had this.
6 more.
I like being crazy, don't you?
6 more? 6 more? 6 more feels like an eternity.
Let's celebrate Al Neese a little bit in Neese Motorsports and what he has done with this organization, and 5 trucks tonight. And
let's celebrate the men and women that work on those trucks. This is a major accomplishment. We've talked about the dominance of Kyle Busch Motorsports on the mile and a half. We talk a lot about the teams that run up front week in and week out, and here they are going toe-to-toe and beating them on a tough racetrack where you have to have every part of the puzzle, Vince. Got to have aerodynamics, engineering. It's all got to be there, and they've got it all put together tonight. And you got a smart driver. I like not challenging Colby Howard for this spot right now. We don't need it.
Yeah, if your lead is building, just roll right where you are and put your truck in a nice stable spot, and he's running right in the middle of the racetrack.
For 10th, Ben Rhodes taking that spot from Derek Kraus.
What about that recovery for the 99? We talked about him being back in 20th position, stayed out, won a stage, and now he's been able to pass all those trucks that he... Oh, no.
The caution is out with 4 to go.
The whammy. There's this whammy thing I was talking about.
The 0-2 of Jesse Little, the 16 of Tyler Ankrum.
All right, well, we've seen guys come back, hold off other competitors in tougher situations. We, in the booth, did not jinx Hocevar whatsoever.
No.
He's going to be able to pull this off.
We were pulling for a green flag run to the checkers and let that young man celebrate that first win. It'll be even more special if he's able to hold off veteran Ryan Priest, John Hunter Nemechek,
Ross Chastain.
Man, just listen to those names that are going to be lined up all around him.
Yes, sir. He's got his work cut out for him.
We're going to go NASCAR overtime, Vince.
Wow. As you see, the Young's Motorsports Group trying to get the jack under the truck of that 0-2. That's Jesse Little and Tyler Ankrum.
There is a nasty bump in turn 3 that just jumps up and grabs you sometimes. I think that's might have what happened.
And he got right into Ankrum. They were running in the top 20.
There's 16 on the outside.
Car head on the bottom. Yeah, he wrecked. Oh my gosh. Why? Oh, of course.
That's spotter Eddie DeHaan.
Oh, and the reaction of...
See, it's just like the game show. No whammy. And you got... All right, you're still in the game, though. That's the best part.
You know, the good thing, too, maybe to think about, Kurt, is he was riding behind Colby Howard. He wasn't pressing the issue. Maybe that helped save those tires a bit so that they're a little bit fresher than they might have been. Was he had been just still hanging the back end out and running those fast lap times.
I agree with you. I mean, it's the best positive types of news that we can try to feed the 42. And again, if you're never on that edge, yes, you are saving the tire a little bit and not building the pressure up too much.
No fresh tires for anybody to come get, so they'll all stay out, and we'll see this restart here in NASCAR overtime. You know the rules, but if you're just tuning in maybe for the first time and not quite as familiar, it is indeed a 2-lap shootout. They'll give them the green flag for this restart, and if the leader comes around and takes the white flag, the next flag, whether it's the checkers or the caution, will end the race. But if we get a caution prior to the leader taking the white, we'll re-rack them and do it again. So these teams that are coming to pit road are putting scuffs on and hoping that maybe that gives them a little bit of an advantage to run toward the front.
A couple laps to go, colder tires. That should give them a little bit better handling. We'll see if it works out.
An exciting finish. Oh, you betcha. It's coming your way when we return to Charlotte.
A late race caution flag, kind of throwing everything up in the air late in the going here at Charlotte. This team right here, your current leader, the Nice Motorsports team, crew chief Phil Gould, had his head in his hands a few moments ago. Just the level of frustration. They had this when they thought in the bag. Now they're going to have to deal with at least one restart, and you know the situation here in these Camping World Truck Series restarts. Anything can and usually does happen. And if you want to see perhaps the most nervous person in this pit area, she's sitting right on the edge. That right there, Amy Hocevar, Carson's mom. She is probably feeling the nerves times 1,000 that the crew chief is feeling right now as she waits to see if her son can pull off his first career Truck Series victory here tonight.
Wow, what a crazy turn this race has taken. Carson Hocevar was out front by about 6 seconds inside of 5 laps remaining, and then contact between Jesse Little and Tyler Ankrum brought out the caution, and now we've got NASCAR overtime as the drivers choose. Do they want to restart on the inside or the outside?
Yeah, and I think I saw a big break for Hocevar there. John Hunter went to the bottom with Priest, and that put Ross Chastain on the right behind the 42 of Hocevar, giving him a push.
Yeah, it's his teammate for sure, but the outside, I don't know. We'll see. We got the 17's radio. Let's check it out.
Long story short, 2 most probably aggressive guys here running 3rd and 4th. One of them says teammate. We'll be all right. Just do our job. Yep, 10-4.
You see Hocevar down on the bottom. That allowed Ross Chastain to pull right in behind him. He's going to be really aggressive on this restart. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ross trying to split them, though.
No, my bet is Ross is going to be a champion teammate at this point and do whatever he can to help Hocevar. I honestly believe that. The trouble that I'm seeing is the outside lane has Priest and John Hunter, who he don't care. He's just going to push. Or John Hunter might go 3 wide and help the Nice truck stay hooked up.
What he has to be really careful with here, Vince, is just not being too aggressive on the throttle. You know, you can't just nail the gas. Those tires will spin. You got to squeeze it down. But man, this is a tough spot to be in here for your first win.
In his 2nd year in the series, does he have the poise to finish the job? Carson Hocevar on the inside, Ryan Priest on the outside. NASCAR overtime.
Oh, something happened to Chastain, but there was what I was talking about. Nemechek might go 3 wide. No, look at this. Eckes through the middle.
With a big push on the back of Priest.
Chastain's got to try to keep up. His truck's loose. It's not there. Here's the outside lane. Oh, they're
Contact
both together.
between Hocevar and Priest. Now Chastain coming to the back bumper of his teammate.
He did help him, didn't he? 3 and 4 is going to be wild. He's got big damage. I told you.
Oh,
it's
and
gonna
around
get wild.
they go. Hocevar is around, and the caution is out.
Caution.
Oh, that is such a heartbreak. And look at this. I mean, where did Eckes end up? He's back in 3rd. Chastain's up there in the lead. And we have a damaged Hocevar.
Such a shame.
We're all devastated for.
What a heartbreaker.
You know, and you called it, Kurt. Ross Chastain did everything he could to help his teammate. Gave him that big push down the back. But we know how loose Ross is, or excuse me, that Hocevar has been all night long.
Why, man?
Yes, it is so difficult to get these tires to refire after that many laps. I was saying no whammies. It's just gonna be a tough task. I honestly would have chose the outside if I was Hocevar. Here's the restart zone.
You watch here, this was a bad break for Carson when Ross maybe spins his tires or just misses a shift a bit, and that just puts that gap there, and it gave a nice push onto Priest, and that got him side by side, and Ross just can't get there yet. But watch this big push he gives him.
Contact there.
That's where the aero side of it comes in, and then yes, you're right, Mikey, right there, a nice teammate push. Nemechek's kind of bottled up in that spot.
Just too much speed to hold it down on the bottom, and Carson gets loose. Nice job by Grant Enfinger squeezing through there.
And I guess after the resetter here, or as far as when the yellow did come out, the 17 was the leader, but he's got a lot of damage.
Yeah, that could be. This next restart's going to be equally as wild.
Yes, sir.
You can see all the sparks off the 17.
Let's see the damage.
Hits the wall again.
I don't know. That's a lot of damage to stay out and not come back in. We'll see. We'll see if they elect to pit. Right now, pit road is still closed.
Well, that's going to put the KBM trucks right there in position for a potential win after really not having a shot all night long. John Hunter Nemechek will be toward the front, if not on the front row. Kyle Busch there as well.
Stay low, dig. Stay low, dig.
Did a good job to get low enough and get away.
Frustration, so close.
We feel it with you, man.
And you know, we talked earlier about what side drafting does and what it's like to be down on the bottom. We know this truck has been loose all night long. It just was a little bit more than he could hang on to there on that restart.
It's that, and then that inside, and then the amount of laps on your tires. They just don't have the same grip, even if they cool off. They've just been used for so many laps, they're not going to give you that ultimate grip. And now you have to, as a driver, readjust and go, okay, I was running the middle just to kind of hang in there. I don't need to pick the bottom because I might be too loose. If you choose the outside, then you have the ultimate aero, you have the ultimate track grip. That's what's left available. It's just a tough spot to be in.
Got to believe the 17 is going to have to come to pit road too with all that damage. Regan, do you see that or not?
Well, Vince, you're exactly correct, and that's what he told the team. He said, I'm pretty sure I got a tire going down. Obviously, very frustrated. Ryan Priest thought he was in position to potentially win that race after the restart, but right now they will hit pit road when it opens up to pull the fenders out and check the tires. As you see the right front low right there.
So with the 17 coming to pit road, now all of a sudden we're putting Chastain, Eckes, Nemechek, Enfinger, Kyle Busch, Zane Smith, maybe all in the top 3 for this restart, top 3 rows.
Are you saying Kyle Busch is in a position to win this race, Vince?
I think I am saying that, yes.
I think you might be exactly right.
Oh, man, that's
oh, what a heartbreaker.
Again, a tough one, but you're right. This is almost like a re-rack. You're hanging out, and you're at the bar and the pool table. You got all the different balls. It's just another re-rack.
There's Kyle Busch. He's in a spot to somehow pull a victory out here. What a fun restart this is going to be with this man in play.
Yeah, he's running what, P6? He's running 6th? No, he's 5th because
Priest pulled off.
Yep.
You see the repairs on the 42. Watch this here. Does the 41, when the 41 eventually does get to the 42 and give him a shove, is that what unsettles the 42 a little bit?
He just
as he goes into the corner.
You saw him off 2.
He helped him there, and now he's off of him far enough. So this is all on the 42, and he just drove it in there, tried to get back to gas too soon, and the truck was loose.
Yeah, it was.
Didn't know if it unsettled when he got down to the bottom, if he had been a little unsettled from that push, but
it was unsettled when he came off turn 2 and got into Priest, and unfortunately just a loose truck.
So, Kurt, you thought that maybe Hocevar shouldn't have taken the inside lane. So what do you see from the situation here as we get ready for NASCAR overtime? Where do you want?
I'm just going to kind of slide back like Homer Simpson through the hedges here. I'm not going to say he chose the wrong lane, but things can change and might get verified here on this next lane choice.
Not saying
what the leader.
Yeah, not saying he chose the wrong lane. I'm saying what lane would you choose in this position?
I would have chose the outside lane.
Again here?
Yes.
If I'm Chastain, I go straight to the outside.
And he left no doubt. That's the lane I would have gone in. And so I hope Hocevar sees this as a lesson. I mean, it's a heartbreaker. It's devastating. But there's things you have to learn from making mistakes. And I think he'll apply that next time.
How about Hocevar's teammate Ross Chastain, who will now be the lead vehicle, Regan?
Vince, you guys talked about controlling that restart on the outside lane, and that's exactly what Ross Chastain said. He said, I want to be on the outside of their door so that I can control what that truck inside of me is doing and be the one to make them get loose. He learned from that previous restart.
He did, and it could turn out negative on this one as well. You never know. I mean, somebody can end up 3 wide to the inside of Eckes. That's what this is. These overtime restarts are so mind-boggling as a driver because there's infinite amounts of scenarios and sequences that can happen. You just have to go with your gut. You have to go with your instinct a lot of times.
And you rely on the crew chief and the spotter. They have a conversation between themselves about what they think you should do. And generally that call is made from the pit box as to which way you go.
Yes, sir. No, there's times where I'm on the fence and they're over on channel 2, like talking up a scheme. And then there's times where they want to tell me information and I go, ha, I got a plan. Watch this.
Well, Ross Chastain will be the control vehicle there in that 41 with Christian Eckes inside, and John Hunter Nemechek will be behind Chastain. Grant Enfinger is behind Eckes. NASCAR overtime number 2.
Let's see how this goes. There's trucks everywhere. I don't know which one to even look at right now, but Chastain is getting a huge push.
Eckes hanging on in the inside.
And there's Kyle up there. Oh, he kind of checked up. Is Zane going to fill the hole? No. But look at this. What's wrong with Chastain?
Still side by side.
He's loose.
I mean, he's trying to feel if he's got a flat right rear or what, but he is right there in the middle where I would want to be, and he's not pulling away.
Enfinger in third. Nemechek has dropped back. Now Nemechek get to the inside for that third spot.
I mean, the leaders seem to,
The white flag is out. This is the final lap. Nemechek to the bottom for the lead.
Wow, what a move by John Hunter.
Huge.
One lane.
And now Chastain on the outside as Eckes floats back.
That's a huge draft down the back. What's it going to do?
Big push from Enfinger to Chastain to put him out front. Ross Chastain, the leader. Ross Chastain will win his 4th Truck Series race.
There is something wrong with that truck. It's like down a cylinder. There's something wrong with that 41, and he was still able to pull it off. Like he could not pull away.
Yes! Yes, guys! Yes!
Or is that the draft in the trucks? I mean, like it's like the handbrake was pulled.
First cup win with you, and my first truck win with you.
How about that? Carson Hocevar, heartbreak, but the victory stays in the Nice Motorsports family as Ross Chastain scores his 4th career Camping World Truck Series win.
I mean, that was impressive. I haven't driven the trucks in a long time, but if the leader is that draggy and you have to have the draft, you have to choose the outside lane because that's where guys are going to go to push you. And Enfinger, we hadn't talked about him all night, came up there and took away 2nd.
That is incredible.
Only led 4 laps tonight, including the last lap pass. Oh, I thought Nemechek had it. Nemechek there on the bottom, jumped out front, and all of a sudden Chastain got a great push from Enfinger on the outside.
And Zane Smith off turn 2 looked like he was running 100 miles an hour faster than the field, but he just couldn't do anything with it.
The draft is that intense with these trucks. That's pretty wild.
Cody Efaw, the crew chief, Eric Holmes, the spotter. job well done, and a little congratulatory meeting between teammates Carson Hocevar and Ross Chastain.
Hocevar did hang on to 16th spot. It wasn't just a total devastating finish.
I've got to believe, though, it feels pretty devastating right now.
It is. It is a heartbreaker.
For sure.
But there he is as a nice guy to congratulate a teammate.
We had a fun night, didn't we?
Wow, what a night. What a performance. This was a Nice Motorsports win tonight. Carson Hocevar led the most laps. Didn't get the much sought after win, but his teammate, Ross Chastain, does climb atop the truck to celebrate.
Where's the much sought after watermelon?
I was just like, hang on, somebody got to be bringing a watermelon.
Somebody got to be running this way now.
Maybe he'll throw the helmet down.
What a great job by Ross Chastain.
Regan Smith, how about that winner?
Ross Chastain, an absolutely thrilling finish to the Truck Series race. You're winning in everything right now. Certainly not a dominant night for you, but when it came time to get the checkered flag, you found a way.
No, Carson Hocevar and that 42 team, they dominated tonight. Al Nice has given us trucks to come out here and fight for wins, and I hate it so much for Carson. If I'd have chose the bottom right there like he did, I would have done the same thing. It's just you're in a bad spot. I didn't give him the push he needed to win, and man, I'm so proud of Carson Hocevar. I just want to say that over and over. That guy is a future star. He's such a goofy kid, and I love him. He learns so quick, and he's in the program that all of us Chevy guys are in, and we learn together, and we lose together. So Worldwide Express to come on board. Oh my gosh, dude, we won!
There's that watermelon.
For Worldwide Express to support me, to support Dean Thompson, first of all, get into the sport, realize to support me and the other trucks at Nice, to support Trackhouse Racing. They're going to support other drivers. They are the best shipping company nobody knows about, and you're going to hear about them a lot. But this is the Georgia watermelon, so I want everybody to know that. We're officially going into Georgia season, so I'm ready to bust it, Regan.
I think you need to absolutely go for it. Let's see the watermelon smash, Ross.
Great kid, great family. I went and visited the watermelon farm down in Florida. And yes, gets a little hot down in Florida. Now we got a Georgia one.
Who would have thought smashing a watermelon would be such a cool thing?
The old comedian Gallagher, wouldn't he bust him out with the sledgehammer? I mean, Ross kind of drives like that. He just brings out the sledgehammer and shows everybody how it's done.
Well, you've got Regan. You better eat it, Regan. Yeah, they take a bite of that, yeah. The thrill of victory for Ross Chastain and the agony of defeat for Carson Hocevar.
Yeah, guys, and Carson Hocevar led a whole bunch of laps, but that late caution cost him out here tonight. As you can see, he's emotional as he's embracing with his team right now. And Carson, how do you put into words what happened out there tonight?
A dumbass move by myself. I mean, that's it. I mean, it sucks. I mean, I tried really hard and tried too hard. I didn't get a good restart and just tried too hard. I tried to wash them up and I just crashed myself. But I feel like a sis crying, but I mean, it's all I've ever wanted to do. But
you'll get there, man.
I'm sure as hell gonna eat watermelon in victory lane, though.
Thanks for your time, Carson.
You'll get there, man.
And that was
Don't be so hard on yourself.
Hocevar when he got out of the truck, so frustrated. Anything that you can relate from your own careers to the experience that he may be going through right now?
There's times where you have those dominant trucks and you don't win. All what you have to do is keep working at it, and there's going to be days where you don't have a good enough truck to win, and the next thing you know, somebody does this or somebody does that. I won at New Hampshire when I didn't have anywhere near good of a truck, and it happens. Just be in position. That's all you got to do.
I just say never change. You know, that's a special young man right there, and you know, this sport is very difficult, and it can make you the happiest you've ever been or the saddest you've ever been, and I think we've all had those moments, and this is this is certainly one that this young man will never forget. Make the next one, the victory, so much sweeter, Vince.
I'm sure I'm not the only one around the country watching this that has a lump in their throat hearing Hocevar's disappointment there and the degree of it. What a heartbreaker tonight. Ryan Preece, let's go downstairs here from him.
Well, Vince, the other side of that battle at the end of the race with Carson Hocevar, Ryan Preece. Ryan, we saw him get loose underneath you, but overall, your race truck's so incredibly fast all night long. What more did you need to chase him down before that final restart?
I just want to focus on that final restart, or that restart him and I drove side by side. All you kids watching right now, wanting to get to this level, don't do that. Race with respect. Don't wreck the guy on the outside of you trying to win your first race. It doesn't get you anywhere. All I'm going to say is thank you, racechoice.com, for putting me in this truck, because I race for a living, and if I don't run good, I don't make a lot of money. So I'm pissed right now. We got 2 more races to try and go have some good runs, but that's just stupid. It's just really stupid. Don't be like that.
I mean, I can see exactly what Ryan Preece is thinking too. I mean, but Hocevar's was a heartbreak. But Preece, like, yes, you want to be raised clean, but sometimes it's just not going to go down that way. I'm with you, Preece. I hear it. Like, you were there. You were going to win that race on the outside, and the kid stepped out. The kid's got big emotions, and he's trying to win a race.
Well, he stepped out in turns 1 and 2 and got a little bit loose, and then 3 and 4 just finished him off. So certainly understand the frustration of Ryan Preece, but also understand how close Carson Hocevar was to winning his first NASCAR race.
Well, and Hocevar owned up to it. I mean, he said he made a mistake. I mean, it's...
And they'll talk that over.
Yeah.
They'll talk but that's the emotions of NASCAR on why you don't know sometimes what other people are thinking.
One end of the spectrum to the other, and both of them agreed that, and what Carson said, I made a mistake, and Ryan said the same thing.
Let's go to a real happy guy down on pit road.
Yeah, Grant Enfinger, runner, ends up runner-up tonight. How'd he do that?
Yeah, Grant Enfinger, been a fighter all season long, a fighter once again tonight, got your truck to finish second. What did it take to get that out there?
A lot of scrapping on the track and pit road. So I really wanted to get this win for a longtime supporter of mine. Rick Gavalet's lost his wife, Karin, to cancer earlier this week. So I really wanted to get this one for her. And we're thinking of you, Rick. He's been a huge supporter of mine. So, man, we had a good push going. Glad to push my buddy Ross to the win. Wish we could have got there. Even if there had been another lap, I think I could have got to Ross, but he probably would have tried sucking me around or whatever. So in my book, he owes me one. My buddy Ross does. But, man, I'm proud of these GMS guys. Everybody on this Champion Power Equipment Chevrolet is they've been kicked in the teeth quite a bit this year. But, man, they've worked so hard. There's never been so much effort put on a vehicle I've driven in my entire life, and I'm so proud of that. And we're getting there. We're getting there. So proud of this effort, and we'll keep going and have something to win with at Gateway.
Second place finish for Grant Enfinger.
You know, remember at the beginning of the race tonight, Enfinger, we had his onboard radio, and he said, if we've got a winning truck, let's win. If we've got a 10th place truck, let's finish 7th. He obviously didn't have a winning truck tonight, but he came away second.
Yeah, and that's just experience and the knowledge of what it takes to be successful in the truck series. He's been around a while. He knows not to overdo it. And great job tonight by Grant Enfinger and that whole team. And you see there Carson Hocevar congratulating his teammate Ross Chastain, and Ross trying to cheer up Carson.
Well, our playoff leaderboard looks like this. Now, Ross Chastain, not a championship contender in the Camping World Truck Series because he runs full-time and contending for the Cup Championship, so not impacting the playoff leaderboard from a victory perspective for him, but the way the points all position themselves, it is impactful with Majeski and Eckes looking good. Hocevar, Enfinger, Crafton, is he safe there at plus 25, Mike?
I think Tanner Gray's got his eyeballs all over that 88 truck saying, I can get there. We talk about having to win to bump in. Matt DiBenedetto showed tonight that he has the speed to do just that. So it's going to be top tipsy-turvy.
It'll go down to the line.
yeah. Sure, tipsy-turvy, whatever you say.
Take that one.
Well, next time it'll be from Madison, Illinois, or in that St. Louis area, Worldwide Technology Raceway. Next Saturday, race day at 12:30 Eastern. We'll take the green a little after 1:30. Of course, tomorrow, very busy day here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Race day at noon, the Xfinity Series at 1, Cup Series practice and qualifying at 7 o'clock Eastern.